Tonight's next guest, there's only 7 men who have played more games for the Richmond Football Club than him. 4-time best and fairest of this storied footy club. State rep, Richmond skipper, 2-time All-Australian. Please make him welcome the one and only Wayne Campbell. Strong. Lovely to see you. I think I speak on behalf of everybody here involved with the program. Excellent flanny choice by you tonight. Well done.
Very good. Yeah, really good.
Tough act to follow, Sarah.
It is.
She was funny. I rang Matthew and he said, we're the one flanny I've got. So,
are you a one flanny? No, you're not a one flanny man. You lived in the inner north in Melbourne for a while. You must have
bought this 15 years ago and it's still going, Andy.
Well done. No, it's good. It still fits. That's excellent.
Lived in Carlton, a little bit just across from Fitzroy, but this was what I used to wear. So.
Yeah, no, it's very nice. What we generally do is roll the highlights of our guests, and we ask the guest a question and get them to talk about their career, which we'll get to.
This will take a while.
Well, no, it's an outstanding highlights package of you. But given the fact that the bloke at the end of the panel knows you so well, we might roll the highlights of you, and it's a storied career that you had. What was great? What was the thing about him, Richo? What was it about Wayne Campbell that made him such a good footballer?
Well, he was a great ball winner first and foremost. Just knocked up getting the footy. Don't forget. 8 top 3 best and fairest, 4 best and fairest, 3 runners-ups and 1 third, a couple of All-Australians. This stat, I was looking up the stats today for Wayne. As a 19-year-old in his 25th game, he had 41 and 4 goals against Carlton, your mob.
No, he used to chop us
out
up
of Waverley.
all the time.
So, yeah, just super consistent, Wayne. Always professional, hardly ever missed because of his preparation, never injured. And then he was our captain, he was our leader. He led by example on the field and at training, and just a great person to have at your footy club, Andy.
And in amongst it too.
For a kid that grew up a Richmond supporter, to do all the stuff that you did in your career and hear somebody like Richo talk about it like that, how does it make you feel to know that as a little tacker, that was the jumper you wanted to wear and you did with such distinction?
It was an interesting story, actually, Andy. So I grew up in Ogun, far north of Victoria, which was the Richmond zone back in the days. Then moved to Bendigo, which became Carlton, obviously. But I actually went on a Year 10 camp to Sydney. I think we stayed in Penrith or Parramatta or somewhere out that way, but came into the harbour and saw the Opera House and fell in love with Sydney. And Greg Williams was actually obviously at Sydney at the time and was at Golden Square. So I'd played a year at Golden Square there, but then on draft day, not quite the same as what it is at the moment. So I had an English exam, no radio coverage, no TV coverage. Channel 8 News, Bendigo, about 6:20. I got told I got drafted, but they didn't say which club, so I'm still sort of hanging on. 10:30 that night, I got a phone call from Doug Vickers, who's still a very, very good friend of mine, was the recruiting manager there, telling me I'd been drafted to Richmond. So my mum's there. She said, "Who have you been drafted by?" I said, "Oh, Richmond." And she goes, I said, "No, Mum, it's going to be okay. I'll borrow from them." She goes, "They couldn't possibly keep being as shit as what they are."
She was
She
wrong.
was wrong.
One of the things about the 90s that you notice straight away is the haircuts. So you started in 91, Richo a couple of years later, and everyone had these haircuts, influenced, I would say, by the Seattle sound, the grunge. Look at the hair there.
All the Tasmanian boys there, yeah.
Now, that photo there is 5 guys from the northwest coast of Tassie. She's got Michael Gale, Brendan, myself, Ben Harrison and Chris Bond. From the northwest coast, we're talking about 70 kilometres and 100,000 people in one AFL team. That's pretty good, Moon Man.
So all related. Talk about the father-son rule.
Yeah.
No, you were putting together a pretty imposing team back in those days too. It took a little while. We'll get to how tough it was early, but they started to play with a bit of an edge.
I want Wayne to tell this story because probably by the mid-90s we started getting some wins under John Northey. We're starting to get a bit of respect in the competition, and other teams were starting to take us seriously until our captain, Wayne over here, had a little incident down at St Kilda. Do you want to relay what happened?
You make some good decisions, you make some bad decisions. Always looking to improve, Matthew. And Nick Daffy and I lived in Port Melbourne, he lived in South Melbourne. Looking at some other different ways to get some conditioning in. There was boxing, there was swimming, there was cycling. There was a fad for a little while, it went for about 3 months, rollerblading. So we bought the new flash white rollerblades. We whacked them on, about $200 they were. We whacked them on. We didn't do it when it was busy. It was a Saturday afternoon, about 3:30, 27 degrees. We take off in Port Melbourne. Matthew tells the story that...
Did you have your top on
Matthew
or off?
tells the story. Matthew tells the story that we were topless. tight shorts,
No.
wraparound sunglasses and a headband. I didn't have a headband on. I wouldn't wear a headband. I wanted the hair flowing. So we take off. We don't get 150 metres just before Kerford Road there. We run into 15 North Melbourne players. So we're not looking overly manly or Mick Martin, Wayne Carey, Wayne Schwass, Glenn Archer,
yes.
Anthony Stevens. And I played on Anthony Stevens a bit. I reckon he sort of just looked at me, he smiled. He's like, oh, he goes...
Can you imagine Wayne and Nick going down Kerford Road?
It was more... It was more. You get the one hand behind Matthew. But anyway, so I can see Anthony Stevens sort of half laughing and half going, "We're going to bash you next."
Well, anyway, it set us back about 3 years.
You really did, yeah.
I'd imagine they'd be very understanding and supportive, wouldn't they? Duck and be like, yeah, good on you guys, go for it.
He was okay. Mick Martin, not so much.
14 wins in your first 39 games. What were you? Can you remember what you were thinking as a young Tiger back in that period of time?
First year, you just play.
Yep.
Lucky enough to play a couple of games. Kevin Bartlett as coach. He'd come and watch me at Golden Square a couple of times at the QEO, and to have a Richmond legend be your coach. He unfortunately got the sack at the end of that.
Yep.
Alan Jeans comes along.
Yep.
And I played, 10 or 12 games in my first year, but I still remember where I was, and he walked up to me and he said, I won't do his voice because I can't do it as well as Dermot, but I've watched you on the tape, Sonny. I think you're a good player. And at that moment, I think I became a good player because I'm like, geez, he's smart.
Yeah.
He knows footy.
Yeah.
I must be. So it just gave me an enormous amount of confidence. Had Yabby for a year and just absolutely loved it. And then he moved on and had John Northey straight after that. Yeah. So, 3 coaches in the first 3 years.
Yep.
Yeah, that's a lot. And it was a struggle in the early 90s for the Tigers, and no one was more surprised that you got Brownlow votes than you guys.
Fitzroy versus Richmond. Richmond, W. Campbell, 1 vote. Richmond, D. Waitman, 2 votes. Richmond, T. Free, 3 votes.
You'll see just in the background there is the toilet. We were always positioned right near the bathroom because we weren't getting many votes.
No winners coming from that.
So you didn't have a lot of star players. Dale Waitman had retired, so it was probably Tony Free, Wayne Campbell and Matty Knight. So you get called out to a lot of media calls, and it was you guys had to go to all of them. I just want to have a look at this one here at Princess Park in 1994. Have a look at Wayne and Tony Free.
Richmond players Tony Free and Wayne Campbell were joined by Balmain Tigers duo Ben Elias and Paul Sirinen to promote Saturday's rugby league match against Brisbane at Optus Oval.
What is going on?
What a way...
John Northey doesn't look comfortable at all.
What a way to miss a week. Throat torn out. Right. Nothing says a professional animal handler like a bomber jacket and a chain from Mitre 10, does it?
Cambo, can you remember... That bloke doesn't really look like he's got that tiger on. If that tiger decided to have a go, that bloke's got no chance.
So I was half a step behind Tony Free. John Northey was a full step behind Tony.
And
Tony
Paul Sirinen was behind.
And he's tough.
Swoop.
And Benny Elias, and they're tough, and they jumped. So I sort of remember it. I mean, it's just how you would never do that these days to be half a step from a tiger. But the other part, we're going pretty well, the Tigers. We can't even wear the same jumper. Tony Free's wearing a different jumper than us.
So if you have
an overly organised.
So Wayne's got the 1993 jumper on. Tony Free's got the 94 jumper on. They just wouldn't happen now,
No
would
chance.
it?
No, why would that happen?
But I think John Northey had the last laugh, Wayne. With 2 Tiger champions there, Francis Burke and Tony Jewell.
That's Tony Jewell and Francis Burke, legends of the club.
Legends of the club.
Both coached the club as well.
You dived into the media. You're doing some terrific work with a couple. You had your own segment on Just AFL and Into Footy. You're a young fella learning about the industry, and these shows, particularly Into Footy, was a fantastic program. Did you enjoy putting your toe in the water with this stuff?
Yeah, I did. I started sort of producing, Andy, to be honest. I was on a radio show on 3UZ, or behind the scenes, with Leon Wiegard for about 3 years, and then got called across to Channel 7 to help produce 4 Quarters, which was a show that was on Channel 7 on a Friday night, only for 1 year. Only just about the only show on Channel 7 that's ever beaten Burke's Backyard.
Oh, really?
Over about 20 or 25 years. So Channel 7...
Oh, well done.
They ended the show at the end of that.
Right.
Yeah, I remember 4 Quarters.
Richard Clow and Tim Watson and Sandy Roberts, I think.
Yeah.
So.
And very early on, right at the beginning of appearing on camera, you had this electricity about you, real charisma, as evidenced on the footy squadron. But you were learning from the best too, Gary Lyons.
And when you get on a bit of a roll, you don't really want to have a week off. So an excellent question, Ben, and for your trouble, very shortly in the mail you receive this great AFL Super Action Rebound Footy, which is a terrific prize. It's a football that you can kick to yourself. So if you've got no mates, Ben, the rebound footy will be ideal for you.
Some real warmth and generosity there from Gary, and advice to lonely kids.
I wonder where this game sits in the career of Wayne Campbell tonight's special guest. Second semi-final, 1995. The young, precocious Tigers taking on Essendon, of course, down at half-time significantly. Scotty Turner, a one-man wrecking ball in the second half, and you come back and win the game by a couple of goals. Cambo, you've got the ball in your hands at the end of it. Of all of the great wins that you were part of, all the wins you were part of, John Northey going bunter at the end of it.
That's unnecessary.
Where does that win sit amongst all of the great moments you had as a Tiger?
Well, we didn't have that many.
No.
Two big finals wins, that one, 95 and 2001. So any game at the MCG is great. Any great game at the MCG with 85, 90,000 is pretty cool.
But that was a stirring game. There was something about that.
Come back. Well, we played North Melbourne. We had a really good year. Played North Melbourne in the first final, got beaten, and looked like at half time we're 30 points down. John Northey made some moves. I was playing on Gary O'Donnell, and Scotty Turner hip and shouldered Gary O'Donnell, so I was no longer playing on Gary O'Donnell.
That's right.
Which was no good for Gary, but good for me.
Yep.
I didn't get many kicks, by the way. I didn't have much to do with it. But yeah, to come home like we did, Chris Nash, Nick Daffy, these guys kicking goals, and amazing feeling. The Tiger Army is unlike any other, as we know, so it's pretty cool.
So, Wayne, that's what I was going to say. When Nash and Daffy are kicking those goals in that second half, is that when you sort of realise the power of what your supporters can do? Because they'd been asleep for 13 years, basically, Richmond.
Yeah, yes, they had been, yeah. I mean, even the week before, again, playing our first final for 13 or 14 years, the banner as we ran out had a sort of curtain on it, and it said something, but then the curtain dropped and it said, "We're back."
Right.
And the crowd roared, and it was like, there's no other feeling like running onto the MCG. And sometimes after those goals and you're running back to the middle, there's just this wave of sound that hits you and it sort of reverberates in your ears. So, yeah, pretty cool feeling.
Talking about that Tiger Army, the next week you lose the preliminary final, but legend has it that the Tiger supporters outsung the Geelong supporters and they kept singing the theme song. Do you remember that?
Yeah, it was pretty cool. We were down by 12 goals. It was out at Waverley. We were playing Geelong. I think we'd played our final the week before. Gary Ablett. They were just too good for us. But I reckon it was about the 15, 20-minute mark of the last quarter. You could just see in the Waverley stands, the far stand over there, they started singing the song. And as bad as we were feeling, because you knew, you think you're that close to a grand final, you're not quite, but it was a pretty cool feeling. It made you smile even though we were getting smashed.
Well, you were two of the reasons that Richmond supporters turned up through that era. Yourself as leader of the team and Richo as the kind of star and the real star turn on occasions. What was he like, Cambo? What was this bloke like to kick the footy to and see further afield and just play your football with?
Good fun. Roller coaster.
Yes.
Up and down. I kicked 150 odd goals. I would have kicked 200 if it wasn't for Matthew.
Right, yep.
You'd kick it and you'd almost be running back to the centre to go it's through, and he would appear on the goal line.
Yes.
Grab it.
Yep.
And every now and then I'd say, Richo, any chance of just letting it go through? He goes, what happens if it bounces, it goes the wrong way? I'm like, mate,
right.
It was going through the air.
Right. Any good forward will tell you, you've got to make sure of them. You never know what can happen.
No,
Sarah Rowe talked about the bounce of the ball.
It's a very good point.
You know?
Well, all right. You're going to be defensive.
To be fair to Richo,
Probably the other one.
I would have kicked 750 then.
well, in fairness to you, Richo, we talk about people's stats over the highlights, and you kicked more goals on the MCG, 800 goals on the MCG, didn't you?
No, 800 all up, 460.
I forgot what you told me to tell.
I'll tell you one thing about Wayne people might know, like nicknames at footy clubs. So we've got a lot of time in our hands, we're sitting around in the change rooms. There's some nicknames around clubs, but I've never met anyone with as many nicknames as Wayne. He's got 21 nicknames.
What?
21, I'll read them out now.
21?
Wayno, Walker, Wok, Wazza, Wurzel, Whammo, the amazing Whammo, Cambo, Campo, Camby, Tank, the Tank, the Wok Tank, Tankle Puss, T-Puss, Puss, Lord.
Lord.
The Lord. Lord Campbell. But his best nickname of all, Wayne. 21 nicknames.
That is outstanding. That is outstanding.
I think it started because Wayne is such a ordinary name, and I think they felt sorry for me, so they're like, we can't keep calling you Wayne. We'll start with something else. So,
Well, Lord. It's always good to know how people get their nicknames. We found out how Matty Knights was called Butter.
Yeah, a few of them call me Butter, and mainly because on the way on a trip, when I have my toast and that, I usually slather it with butter and not much else.
That's it.
Good
no,
chat.
That's it. That's the story.
He coached Essendon.
He also had a large
He did.
butt, which I think was probably more.
That's why it was.
That's why, wasn't it?
No, he's got his own story.
Yeah,
Rob.
but I think he didn't want to say what it really was.
Okay, right, no worries.
All right.
Butts or
heavy
buttsies?
So he had a big
Heavy
engine
set,
room.
Right.
He had a big seat.
Yeah.
Okay, right. You've done a lot of things in footy outside of your playing career. You're the current academy manager at the Sydney Swans, which I imagine must be a terrific job. You'll live up in Sydney, obviously, with your family. But one of the jobs on the way through you had was working at the AFL as the boss of umpiring, which is about as hot a seat as there is in the AFL. There's Matt Stevic working through a game with you. How challenging was this role, Cambo?
Well, interesting you talk about the Swans Academy, because my boss is John Longmire.
Yep.
And my first game of umpiring was the Giants v the Swans out at Olympic Park, and it was Lance Franklin's first game.
Right.
John sent me 29 edits of mistakes that the umpires had made, and 26 of those were Lance Franklin being held. There was about 20 of those where there wasn't anyone else in the shot, so they couldn't have held him. But John used to harass me probably every second week. He sent me this beautiful text message when I finished up there and moved on. What a wonderful job I'd done and everything. I'm like, you didn't tell me that for 2 years. Is there any chance you could have put just some of that in? But
You've obviously seen, as a player and an umpire's coach, you've seen it from all angles, and you always had utmost respect for the umpires.
In towards full forward. No mark's going to be paid. It could have gone to Prescott instead.
There you go.
Fletcher may kick a
You think
goal.
that's touched?
Yep.
Is that touched? Excuse me. Excuse me. Are you? How many weeks should you get for touching an umpire?
5 weeks.
5 weeks.
Did you get it? Can you remember getting a letter?
No,
as a
I don't think
result
I
of
did.
that?
No, it was
Should you have got a letter?
Back in the days of common sense, I would think so. No, I shouldn't have done it.
You were very
I-
gentle. It was only a little.
I don't know why I was doing it. I shouldn't.
I think you were just,
There was a
taking the
bit of
P15.
respect,
And of
I
course,
think-
Richo had the same respect
Matthew is exactly the same.
for goal umpires as well.
Yep.
He loved a goal
Two
umpire.
behinds.
There you go. This is a.
Richardson for his second. It's a pretty good kick.
Is it a
He's
goal?
kicked it, I think. Just. No, missed.
Well, I tell you what, he is still furious. He was
Seriously.
Let's.
If we had the higher goalposts then,
No.
I'd have kicked 801
I've got the
goals.
lip.
That
I've got
was
the
a
lip
goal.
reader in the vault. Let's have a look at that again.
furious. He was celebrating.
You've done a lip reading course, haven't you?
Yeah, that is bullshit.
Cambo, your life in footy continues and will continue. You made an unbelievable contribution to the game and you continue to do so. Thanks for making your contribution to our show. Wayne Campbell, our very special guest. Don't go anywhere.